Yeah. So, I'm looking at this website and I'm like, this is genius because there's nothing else to do. And this is before websites where they were telling you to do this. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, boom, a button comes up. I'm like, oh my God, this is ingenious. So guess what? I'm like, how can I create that? Now,
Right.
back then, I looked into it and I used this thing and I realized how he did it, coded it to where the button would come at its. One second, I'm going to get my back panel. Are we live?
We are.
All right. Good morning.
Good morning.
Uh, Today is a fun thing to talk about today because it has a lot to do with the creator movement that we are doing all of 23, which I'm super stoked about. But yeah, going back to the websites are so important if done right. We will go over that more every week. We're going to touch on it because that is the assets. And digital assets are, in my opinion, everybody's doing this Bitcoin and EFTs. And I'm saying, listen, that industry someday, I get it. Someday I get it. But nah, not right now for me. And I know you're doing some of it. And I get it. But at the end of the day, I'm one of these people that do you know what, like, these tickets that people buy, like, you see them usually at clubs where my wife and I, way back in the day, were members of the Vikings, but they tear these tickets, and they.
Oh, right.
So I watch people do that, and my mother used to gamble like that way, like lottery, right? Do you know I never play? I like guarantees. I'm a risk taker. Trust me. I've been at the financial cliff a lot. A lot of entrepreneurs do that, but at the end of the day, I like the idea that I have more control. And that's just the way I feel about it.
No, I agree. I'm not one of those ticket lottery guys either. Now, when the Powerball got up to $1 billion, did I throw $20 in just for the heck of it? Yeah.
Yeah,
like if it gets real big,
that. I get the lure of it.
Yeah. If it gets real big, I'll throw 20 at it. You know what I mean? But just because. But like, I don't play. I don't do tickets. I don't do any of that stuff. Yeah, I am into crypto, but I'm not heavy. I just kind of dabble in it a little bit just because I want to see what, kind of learn about and see what it is.
Nice.
You know what I mean? But if it got wiped out tomorrow, it wouldn't, you know what I mean? It wouldn't be the end of me. I got very little in it. So
good for you. Someday, right now, I'm going all in on.
Well, that's the whole thing. Like that's the whole thing. Like we're, and obviously me too. You know what I mean? Like we're so, everything we do is for us and what, our systems and programs and what we got going on.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. We are recording this as well. So if somebody catches this live, just put in the comment live. Would appreciate that. Hopefully we have some of our monitors come on that will help us look something up if we need it. But today we're talking about passive income. There's a lot of questions regarding this. And hey, do you know if there's a difference? I wish we had somebody that was a tax pro. Good morning, Mark. How are you, brother? I wish there was a tax pro, because is passive income taxed differently than ordinary income?
I mean, that's a good question. Yeah, I don't know. I don't see how it would be, but I don't know.
And well, remember, there's a reason why that they're separating the two. I kind of have an idea, or I have an answer, but I'm going to wait until. What we'd like to do is bring on, legal, people that an attorney, a CPA. Matter of fact, part of the 52 creator. If there's any doubt in somebody's mind, if there's any oh, this is hard, hit us with it, because we're bringing on some really next level individuals. Matter of fact, this one person blew up a YouTube channel, 20 some thousand a month on their YouTube channel alone. How crazy is that?
That's awesome.
Today, when we say creators economy, that's what I'm talking about. Everyone could talk about the economy. Matter of fact, you and I, before we went live, we were talking about the layoffs.
Right.
Touch base on it. Report on some of the layoffs that's happening right now, and then we'll talk about the
why. I just been, just kind of been paying attention a little bit to like some of the layoffs in the tech industry right now. And, DoorDash, dropped 1,250 people. Meta, Facebook laid off 13% of their workforce, which was 11,000 people. Amazon 3%, which was 10,000 people. Twitter, I don't know if it's because of Elon Musk or if it's because of, or what, but they laid off half their workforce, which is 7,500 people. And then Lyft laid off 13% of their workforce as well, so definitely, definitely noteworthy at least, and to see what's going on,
You're right. Hey, Mark, who's Seth?
Seth is, he does a mountain bike channel. It's called Burn Peak.
I'll be darned.
Yeah.
I love that. I would love to get this guy on. Yeah. Mark, I got to tell you, there's many channels that are doing well over 1 million, matter of fact, there's a cooking show right now that's doing 195,000 per month. It's like, what? Do you have to remember? So some of the questions that I got was this: Tim, I get the creator's economy somewhat, right? And here, matter of fact, I have a group that we meet on Saturday mornings, and all of them are high figures, high 7-figure individuals that own either one company or multiple companies. And one of the deals was this, is the fact that the question was, I don't understand, like, why would YouTube pay so much? I'm like, remember the day when they would have to pay millions for like Oprah to come onto a channel so that they can run ads to it?
Right.
The new way is you're it.
Well, exactly.
And this is why right now that you see a lot of celebrities like freaking out a little bit. Matter of fact, I picked on her, and I don't mean to pick on her. I think Katie Couric is a great person, just so you know. But Katie Couric was so wrong so many times on the Today Show, meaning like Justin TV and so many, including American, what was the name? AOL. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
And remember, there's a product life cycle. We'll discuss that later. But at the end of the day, you saw the trend where it was going. But what she did know was good. She realized the creator's economy. So at some point, she ended up getting it. And she went to Yahoo, and she makes more there than she did when she was on the Today Show. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
So now you're starting to see celebrities, and in one of the celebrities that what's the guy that played Steve Jobs in the movie? Women find him hot. he used to be married to Demi Moore.
Bruce Willis?
No.
Ashton Kutcher?
He broke them up. Yeah, that guy.
Okay.
So he went to online, like he's got apps to, but that's the deal. So let's see here. Oh, wow. Wait, what? Okay, $800 per month.
You're right. Yeah.
My little brother's got 25,000 subs, and I don't know, but I know that it's somewhere $5,000 a month or somewhere near that. So you don't even need a lot, but so just remember that when we say creators economy, this is what we're talking about. We're talking about from a product creator to actually a content creator. The day of even movies is changing. Now there are movie producers that used to be the wannabes, right? Oh, what I would do to be a movie. Now they can produce a movie. And Casey Neistat did this. Good morning, Susie. How are you? And he pitched it to HBO. HBO decided, yeah, we'll run it. They ran, it wasn't a movie, it was a series. And then they decided they wanted to purchase it. So they purchased it for like right around 10 million. Him and his brother split that, 5 million each. And he thought, okay, I'm retired. And then he realized that was boring and went back into, He became a vlogger, built that up to a multi-million-dollar business, and then he created Beam and stuff like that. So to just give you just a real quick snapshot of what creator economy is, think of Oprah, but it can now be you. Like, and I don't mean somebody's going to be that good. Oprah was good at what she did, but at the end of the day, the new TV is what?
It's definitely YouTube. It's and that's the cool part, because anybody can do it as long as your content's good and you're entertaining. People will watch.
Yeah, there's a urban farmer doing really well. Susie has a program. I mean, a gift. Once you're either knowledged or you have a skill, knowledge or skill,
right?
6 to 7 figure business.
Oh yeah,
absolutely. Now listen, is it going to be tough? Are you going to be at the financial cliff's edge multiple times? Yes, but keep going. You're going to get haters. Not everybody gets them, but you're depending on what niche you're in, you're probably going to get some haters.
Oh, yeah.
And then you have the people that look down, like, I don't think that's going to work. And then it works, right? You got to muscle through all that. You got to believe in it and muscle through.
Let me, like Mark mentioned there about Seth. The guy has 2 YouTube channels now.
Okay.
He, one's about products and builds. The other one's about like trails and a bunch of other stuff. But he so he started on YouTube with one channel, then started the other channel. Then he obviously the merch, does his own line of merch and stuff now. And then he just opened a bike park free to the public. Then he also just did a Airbnb house in this real popular riding area that's booked out like a year in advance.
Wow.
So it's, you know what I mean? But like, you always talk about multi-layers or how stuff builds, builds upon, and multiple revenue streams. But,
perfect.
The guy's smart on how he does it.
Keith, welcome, brother. And good morning to you. Yeah, I think that is amazing. So we're going to talk about passive income. By the way, if anyone knows, is passive income treated differently than ordinary income? We'll get back on that. Matter of fact, well, I'm not going to get into tax strategies at all. We're going to bring in some high-level people to go over that stuff, especially in 2023. We want to make everyone level up. Like, that's the whole idea of the 52 creator challenge. It's not even so much just being a creator. It's the challenge to level yourself up and take a whole year to do it. These people get rich quick schemes. It's stupid. Matter of fact, there was a survey, like, what's trending, and we talked about this before, the Lambos and stuff like that. Most really wealthy individuals, they invest in American-made cars, and they will drive them a lot longer than most, right?
Right.
They kind of like invest into the car. First of all, a car is not an investment.
No.
So, but those individuals also have multiple passive streams of income. So we're going to talk about the best 5 and the fastest today. So what would be a slow way to get there with passive income? And for those that don't know, I'm going to bring this up real quick, just to give you a quick definition. Unlike active income, meaning a job income, right? Active income, or you're an attorney trading hours for dollars, if you will, that would be ordinary income. Passive income is generated automatically. We're going to explain how that works, providing residual income with minimum time and effort. Now, here's the funny thing about that. Let's go back to YouTube. Some would say, well, is that really passive? Because you're creating content and then you're making revenue from YouTube. And what that is, it's revenue share. YouTube makes money how?
On advertisers.
Advertisers. It's really an advertisement platform. That's why they purchased it. And that's another thing real quick. I know I'm going to be all over the place. Some will say, why do these companies pay like 100 million or $1 billion for this? Is why. I don't know. Somebody look it up. I don't know what Google paid for YouTube, but they saw the advertising ability, and it was a well-oiled machine already. So they're accomplishing 2 things. Number one, it's already built. Number two, it's already got an audience. It's already popular. So it's like, that's what they're purchasing. But more importantly, they know, hey, we start running ads in front of these people, it's $1 billion product. And that's why Google purchased it. So that is the definition. Okay. So what can you do to create passive income? So to give you an example of passive is like rental income. You buy a property, let's say it was a multifamily property, and you rent it out. That is passive income. It's minimum effort, and every month you're getting that payment. We own HoseFox. Every time somebody needs hosting, they pay for that while I'm sleeping or you're walking a dog. Like when somebody comes in, that's passive income. So you can create things that do that. So let's use Susie for, I use Susie as an avatar a lot because she's on here. Let's use Susie for an example. If Susie was to train Krav Maga, right? She would create it once. She'd create a program, then send it to the world. There's a free line there, which will coach Susie down the road here in 2023. But at the end of the day, there's a free line that you could do that wets the whistle, if you will, gets people like, you know what? I would like to learn that. Right. And there's a lot of reasons today. Like we already know, like for Susie, there's a lot of, what is that sex trade thing going on, which is still blows my mind that it's real, but it's real. People becoming missing, or we know that we've had people abducted or, you know, and they still can't figure out who. They kind of have an idea, but you get my point.
Right.
If somebody, if they took self-defense, maybe they can level the playing field a little bit and save themselves. So if I was Susie, I would lean that way with it. But that's passive income. So she creates a program. She puts it out there. By the way, Susie's would be, let me ask you this. Do you think Susie's would be evergreen, or do you think it would in fact go through a product life cycle?
I don't see why it wouldn't be evergreen.
It would be evergreen.
Right.
All she would have to do is update it. Keep it fresh.
Exactly.
It's kind of like food, cooking shows and stuff. That's why they do so well on YouTube. We all got to eat. And here, so what do you think has happened? So where there's a yin, there's a yang. Right? So what do you think would happen, or that's happened with the restaurant industry based on the cooking shows on TV first, then it kind of moved into YouTube. What do you think that did to the restaurant industry?
Oh, I mean, I think it definitely hurt it some, you know.
I've said this before. I had a restaurant ask me, you know, we're doing this, and you know, things just aren't working. And I had their meal. And I said, I didn't want to completely like insult them, right?
Right.
I said, here's what your industry has as a obstacle today. And he says, what is it? By the way, you know this restaurant. Anyways, he said, what is it? And I said, don't take this bad, but you're up against now home cooks out cooking you. Like these home cooks, my wife included, when I met my wife, we were very young. She couldn't cook a meal. Like now she's like one of my favorite cooks. Like she's amazing. Like a lot of her dishes just blow me away. So, but where did she learn that? Way back in the day, we went to a restaurant because we couldn't cook like that. Now you can actually be taught by Chef Ramsay. You can go to master class and get what's Jean Pierre? Is that his name? Anyways, you can learn French cooking, Italian cooking. You can learn how to make sushi. Like there's nothing you can't learn today.
Well, you know, and I think that's definitely a huge part of it. But then you also got Pinterest and all these easy to get recipes.
Yes.
And then you also got people investing in like nice grills and out, you know what I mean? Or in cooking more outside or you know, or in grilling and
the number one trend for the last 3 years was outdoor living. Right. Outdoor living. So if you're somebody that's really good at that, create a program and it's on, you know, outdoor living design or whatever. Or maybe you make a living doing that. Well, so instead of doing it, you teach it.
Well, exactly. But, you know, and then not including, mail delivery steaks like Grub Guys, or places
Yes,
like HelloFresh or whatever else. I mean, there's a lot of competition for a restaurant these days.
there is. By the way, let's go back to the reason. I believe that a lot of the layoffs, a couple reasons. One, like you said, during the pandemic, they had a huge, they needed the workers. And now that everything leveled back off, now you get rid of, I shouldn't say get rid of, you lay off the excess amount of workers that you needed. With Facebook, it's due to Facebook is kind of losing the game a little bit, right? And they're also realizing, what did Facebook add on hugely during the pandemic? Now, they're not saying exactly who's being laid off,
No.
but fact checkers. And do you notice how that's starting to wean a little bit? It's like, okay, we're getting a lot of flack for this. So it should always come down to buyer beware. Obviously, if somebody's really malicious, you get rid of, you just nix the account. But at the end of the day, when you censor everything, it's not good. So Facebook is starting to lose a little bit of popularity. Will it go away completely? I don't think so. I think there's a fix there. I think there's a lot of things that Facebook should be doing and could be doing that would literally trump the other platforms that they're trying to chase.
Right.
Remember, people that chase things, they never become number one. Facebook was number one because it didn't chase MySpace. It made themselves a little different. Then they got into light, not to go down the history of this thing, but at the end of the day, they were a better platform. And because of that, other companies started chasing Facebook and they failed, such as Google. The only thing that I thought was really bizarre was Samsung going after the iPhone. I didn't see that one. I didn't see them winning that one.
Right.
And they didn't necessarily win. They won with, isn't it weird that they lost the trademark lawsuit, but was still allowed to do it?
Right. Right.
Meaning they had to pay some money, but they were still allowed to sell the phone.
Right.
So there's a lot of room and growth in 23. Some say, is it saturated? No. Competition is great. Be different. People will buy you. So like using Susie here is there other places where people can purchase or learn Krav Maga online? Probably. I know of a really good trainer that's online right now. But Susie could be saying, I'm going to train women or women and children. She can sub niche it to where she'll own that segment of that industry. So That's the way you got to be thinking about it. The other reason for layoffs is obviously the excess. So a lot of startups, a lot of like you and I, like let's say a hedge fund. We have one that's looking at Sparterra from Great Britain. And if we got a huge infusion of money, what's the first thing that you do to scale?
Hire a few people.
You hire people. First of all, you pay off any debts and stuff like that could be holding things down. You hire people. And then eventually what happens is you now know the number. And then once you know that number, usually what follows that is layoffs, because now you realize, oh, I don't need that many people in design. Oh, I don't need that many people as coders. That's why. So I don't necessarily think it's an economy thing or it's a matter of a market is starting to lose traction. I don't think it's that at all.
No, but and you also know that building involves a lot more people than maintenance.
Yes.
So as all of them build their platforms and build all their add-ons, everything else that takes a lot more people,
True.
But then once it's built, you don't need all those people to maintain it.
Without a doubt, they had a lot of new things coming out, right down to WhatsApp and all of the things that they took over. And then, when you take over a product, you almost have to remake that product to become your own, with the exception of you don't want to hurt it. Some people will like change it so dramatically that they now killed what was making it work. You got to be careful of that. Okay, we only have 5 minutes more. If you have a question for us, feel free to put it in the comments. And Susie, that's her plan. Human trafficking is a bad one. I love that. We need more solutions for stuff like that. That's another reason why I'm dedicating the rest of my life. I'm 55 is give. And I want to see us create as many creators that we can possibly do. My wife and I have made this comment before, walking through the Lakeview Cemetery. You know, my wife and I, because it's park-like, by the way, so we don't even see it as a cemetery anymore. It's just a great place to run or have a great walk. And I said, you know, think of all the ideas that just died with these people. Like, you know, even Steve Jobs, think of all of the new ideas he would have had. So this is why I would love if Susie made a program that saved one person, because that's what I vision. Like, hopefully it's even more than that. But what I'm saying is, well, hopefully it doesn't happen. Just having the skill is great. But at the end of the day, I wish there was no need for police officers or security cameras at all. I wish there was no need for that. But because there is a need, I just think it's great that somebody like her could, and here's the other thing with that, the urgency. Like, they can't have that program fast enough, in my opinion. So, but it makes me feel good that if we have anything that help something like that see light, I don't know. I think that's just an amazing thing.
Right.
Going back to Grub Guys, it's passive in nature when it comes to orders, but keep in mind too, some things can be still, can still be mechanical, right? But eventually you get yourself out of the way. Eventually you hire, and then it truly becomes passive. We're about a year away from that.
Right.
That Grub Guys will truly be passive. We're going to show up with some things. I have an idea for a show called Earthy Chef. I think it's going to be an incredible thing, and it will also help the brand of Grub Guys. The other thing is our rubs and stuff. So when you create a product, sometimes there's this thing that you got to go through with the rubs. You know what that is, and that is
sampling.
Yeah, well, besides the sampling, but we got to get it approved. The FDA.
Oh, yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, I mean, you got to get it approved. You got to get a package labeled. You know,
so it's a little longer. So, folks, there's multiple passive income stream ideas. Number one would be affiliate. It's the easiest way to make money, 6 figures or greater, in 2023. The fastest. Not to sound like a douche and talk money. Mark, we'll get you unstuck, brother. How many people are stuck? For those that are watching a replay, put it down in the comments that raise your hand. I'm stuck. Like, I've got all these great ideas. I don't know where to go. Susie, me too. Do you know that that's the number? I was there. You were there at one point.
Oh, yeah.
And you know what's really cool, Susie and Mark, is the fact that when you get unstuck multiple times, then it's like rinse and repeat. Everything becomes easier. So know this, we're going to get you past that, and know this. Once you become a creator, you can start doing things off the fly. Like, once that mental block is gone, everything is just possible. That's just the way. Look at Babos. I always say his name funny. Babos. Amazon.
Yeah. Jeffrey.
I have a hard time with his last name.
Yeah, no, right. That guy.
Can you imagine how tough he had it in the beginning? Now he could, whatever he touches turns to gold type of stuff. So, so it's that. And then with money, you can create more things and you can hire more people. So that's what's cool about scaling is, so the way I would do it is create a product. So the first one is, if it interests you, it's like affiliate marketing. You find products you can believe in, and you market those products.
Right.
We know people that are 7-figure earners that's all they do. That's all they do. The other would be you create a course. And by the way, we have a program that will teach you exactly all that you have to do that. And we have a platform that you can use that we own that helps you real quickly upload videos. You lock them down so nobody can steal them. That you have a payment gateway. And all you have to do is either run ads. There's another really cool way to get there with doing a course. So what's nice about a course is people get in, they could pay monthly or one time. So you can literally earn a whole year's worth of income within a month or two with a course, if it's a good course and done right.
Right.
Susie, in your field, we know of somebody. She made right around 4 million, very similar to what Susie does in her first year. And ironically, she was all but broke before she started the course. She started getting traction, and then she spoke from a stage. People like, oh, I would like to take that. And that's how it works. And we'll go more in depth. Read Keith's question.
No, he said, not stuck, just need to start doing more research on my idea and the related things for it, such as customer base, licensing, where I can locate and figure out the baseline operating costs.
Okay, Keith, to get past that, make that a bullet point with a date on it. I'm going to get the answers to this by Friday, or I'm going to get the answers. And yes, I know he's going to say, well, it's not that easy. It is. We've been there. Like you can get these answers, and then you move forward to those.
Well, exactly. Or as opposed to doing that as one line item, break it up into 3 or 4 tasks.
Yes.
Hey, this date, this by
That's
that.
What I mean.
Exactly.
You break it down to line items, and then you check them off as you need it. Yep. There's something that I just put my wife on. My wife and I are. So are you. Your kids are still little. Ours are out of the house, of course. But my wife does a lot of research. She does a lot of behind the scenes stuff, and she has her own product that she's coming out with, which is cool. She's very creative. So Keith, don't let okay, so you're not really stuck, but you are, because if you don't have answers to these, you're kind of stuck. So what you need to do is you got to put a date and time on it, okay, and get it done. And then from there, you got to name it, whatever this is. I don't know what you're doing, but you got to name it. Once you have a product name, then you got to start building that out. Okay, one more.
Yep. Basically, it's tough because I'm working a ton of hours at work, as well as staying busy with the kids. So at the end of the day, I typically fall asleep on the couch.
I get it. Right. I'm up at 3.
Oh yeah.
I'm up at 3 a.m. My wife kind of yelled at me the other day because at 3, I got up at 3, and at about 3:30, I noticed my pellet stove needed cleaning. So I decided that was a good time to clean it.
Right.
Shot back. And she could hear it, of course, which is hilarious. But Keith, I got to tell you, brother, like, obviously you must love to work because, you're to work long hours, but what could you do to replace that day job? What's getting in the way? And I came to this cross, in the road fork in the road that I'm like, you know what? This is interfering with my dream. And this is way back in the day when I was at Prudential. And I said, this isn't interfering with my dream. And it wasn't in alignment with my long-term plan. So what I did is I made a way out, and I was able to earn enough to surpass my daytime job, if you will. And then I went all in on what I did. And then I created that company and grew that company.
Right.
Oh, you work as a paramedic. Nice. First of all, congratulations on that. I love that. My son is a sheriff deputy. And for those that are in the public like that, so I almost don't want to take you away from that, but your dream is your dream. So yeah, I hear you, brother, but make plan. You got to make a plan, and you got to somehow fit it in. Thank you. Yeah, my son's becoming a canine officer now, and that's why we never pushed. I love business, and my one son's in business. My other son always going to be cop. Come to find out, I had a great grandfather that was a sheriff. Ironically, just found it out this year. We knew that he was a general in the military back in the day. And then my wife's father was a police officer. My dad was a military police. And then, of course, my son, from as soon as he could speak, he said he was going to be a police officer, and was.
Right.
Dreams are dreams, and although it worries us sometimes, it is.
Yeah, no, yeah. Susie and Mark both commented that, Susie's day job takes a lot of time away from her dreams too. Mark's like, Mark was basically saying that, he doesn't love what he does, but it's a means to an end. He also commented that Keith's comments are blocked on the mobile platform, and honestly, I think that's because Keith's comment in the Linkbox group. And not on the and not on the Facebook page, like our Facebook pages.
Okay, yeah. That's
and if Mark's not in the group, then he wouldn't probably see Keith's comments.
Okay, got you. Okay.
I mean, that's that's just my guess, but
so when I bring it up on the screen, you guys don't see it?
Well, no. When they bring it up on the screen, they see it, but it's not like in the chat.
Oh, got you. That is why, folks. We're going live even on YouTube. We have a gentleman right now that I have hired. It's actually a male-female team that said that they're going to get us to 100,000 subs by April. And I'm good with that with the YouTube channel.
Oh, yeah.
So we're excited about that because obviously it's not just a money thing at all. It has a lot to do with getting this message out there. And yes, there's a lot of business advice on YouTube. We get that. All right. Let's see. What else? All right. We went over a little bit, but yeah. So let me just recap real quick. Passive income, your fastest way is affiliate marketing for now. And somebody like Keith, you just set ads or you set up a system, and without systems, you really don't have a business. I hear these people that say, I own my own business. What do you do? I have an Amway thing. No, you don't. That's not a business. That's an opportunity, maybe. It's not even the best one. And I'm not going to be slamming multi-level marketing. But at the end of the day, I think there's a better way than that. There's just, anyways, a business is when you own the thing, when you own the system. Well, Tim, if I'm an affiliate marketer, I don't own that business. Yes, you do if you own the system. What do I mean by that? If you're creating value, right? You're creating value for people and they follow you and you're offering them, hey, these are the things. Like, for instance, let's say I'm an affiliate of this mic. Tim, what mic are you using? And I had a link. I don't, but let's say I had a link there. I would make money on that.
Right.
And then there's some that are perpetuity. Those are my favorite.
Well, exactly. I mean, dude, affiliate marketer is a wholesaler for products.
Yes.
And it doesn't make a difference what products it is. It's still your business. You're a wholesaler of them.
Yeah. Or you're the advisor, right? And there's, think of like a chiropractor. Part of their business is recommending product, right?
Right.
So yeah, they're doing other things, but that's just, so what you do is you make you the brand. Like Susie needs to be the brand. Susie could own and name a program, but she needs to be her name. So if I was to coach Susie, she needs her own website. That's her, where she was, where she is, and where she's going. Right. So this is my story. This is what got me into Krav Maga. And there's a lot of things that can work there. And then you make products that are subsets of your brand. That's what I would do. So affiliate marketing, second thing that I think is ideal for 2023. And that is becoming a coach or a consultant teaching. So you have a course and put that out to the world. Another way is obviously real estate. If you have money, you would buy not one house. I would stay away from, they're saying right now that, ironically, we touched on this a week ago. It would be a great idea for you, but it's not a great idea for everybody. And that's Airbnb. They say, especially in California, it's oversaturated right now.
Right. No, you're starting to run into that a good bit.
Yeah. So where it is affecting hotels. So I certainly would never want to invest in a hotel unless somehow, some way you Airbnb the thing out. I don't know why hotels don't jump on the bandwagon and just Airbnb it.
Right. Well, it's funny because with the Airbnb thing, some areas are oversaturated and some areas there's still not enough. So it just depends. Not enough. It just depends on the where you're at geographically and what's around you.
Yeah. And I think this is a great area because we have the lake and all the other things that are going on. Your place would be ideal because of you already have an audience. You have a tipping effect because I would share it. Everybody that follows you would share, you know what I mean? So you would have all this exposure immediately. I would start out with 3, build, you have to at least have 2. You build at least 2 or 3, and then you would have the return on money quick. Now, that's a slower way of doing it. The fastest way is just getting into the game, creating a course or becoming an affiliate marketer or both, and creating your brand online. That would be the fastest way. And then, of course, it's all the other mutual funds, dividends, stuff like that. That's just it's a harder approach to it.
No, the Airbnb is, like Mark said, Airbnb has its interest right now. It's definitely interesting. It has, right. Me too. I mean, me three, I'm definitely interested in it as well.
And I think with your place, there's just so many opportunities there.
It's definitely in a master plan. I'd be lying to say that it's not.
And it's sexy. Imagine those A-frames. Doesn't have to be an A-frame. I just think that would be.
Well, trust me, with the snow load around here, an A-frame is not a bad idea. Just for maintenance on roofs,
And those metal roofs are so cheap for the most part.
So believe me, that
lasts for years.
Right.
There's a lot of community there. Like, can you imagine if somebody's on an 86 and they're looking for Airbnb and then they see yours? It's like, wait a minute. I can go biking. I can do the, like, can you imagine like you supply them with a bike or whatever? Anyways, being creative is fun too. Part of, let me just do a real quick pitch for the program. We're going to start January 1st. Can you give me the day? Remember, no excuses. I don't care if it's a Sunday, folks. We're doing it.
I think it's a Sunday, honestly.
Is it really? That's funny.
Because Christmas is on Sunday this year.
Oh.
Wait a minute. So Christmas is on Sunday. The 1st is on a Sunday.
Okay, fantastic. So we're gonna help you with a lot of stuff. Like we're gonna break through these little barriers that are here. Remember, the first thing we have to do is get ourselves out of the way, right? We're always in the way of ourselves. So we gotta first of all do away with the limited belief. The other thing is leveling up. I have a guy right now that said, Tim, don't even think about that. It's a like a 10,000 exit, $10 million exit on a product that you and I own. And he goes, you're going to have a different brain by then. I said, wait a minute, expand on that. And I love that. And I use it all the time now. He goes, he goes, you remember when you hit your first 6 figures? Okay. You weren't thinking that way. Like when you hit that, you have a different brain. Now you have to have a different brain. Once you hit the mill, you'll have a different brain. Then you have, these individuals that have like an exit of 10, 15, or like Hormozy, 100 million exit.
It's funny because talking about Hormozy real quick, like he lives in an apartment building in Vegas.
Yes.
And the guy that lives above him is the guy that owns all the Panda Expresses.
Really?
100%
How
on
did
his
you
own.
Find this out?
My First Millionaire.
Yes.
And and it's funny because he thinks like, man, you know what I mean? Like he thinks he's a peon basically, and he's absolutely killing it because there's always somebody with more,
Yes, which is true.
Right.
And it levels you up.
Right.
My group has leveled me up so much. And listen, folks, yes, there's going to be times where it's like, Alan said it best. He says, Tim, matter of fact, there's another guy that was on a podcast. Thank God I never had to do a bankruptcy or anything like that. But he says, I filed bankruptcy 2 times before I hit it. I'm like, ugh, that would be scary. But at the end of the day, he goes, I had a lot of haters and they're saying, see, he's not going to make it. And then all of a sudden, boom, he started. And then he says, guess what? I had a different brain.
Right.
And then guess what? I got coached on how to manage my money better. You got all these YouTubers that are making all this money. So they have Lambos and stuff like that. If that ever goes away, do they have a new brain that knows how to? Probably not, because they're not learning those lessons. So he says, I learned valuable lessons with the falls no differently than I learned the lessons on the peaks.
Right.
So it's that. Now I don't want to scare everybody else. Well, geez, I don't want to. Well, guess what? That's why you work your way into it. And that's why I love passive income. If we had a passive income coming in, and passive income, and I'm going to end it. Just so you know, I brought the definition up. It's when you have money coming in every month, it's just countable. Okay. So if you have 25,000 coming in every month, what would that do for your business? Or 10,000 a month? What would that do for your dream? That's coming in every month. You can count on it. Now you can work on your dream. What would that do for you?
Oh, dude, it's life-changing.
That's the ability today that we didn't have to the degree like we do now back in the day. So back in the day, it was, I needed real estate, or I needed an inheritance, or, I invest, I leave a company. I have, like, let's say you had 600,000 in a mutual fund. They cash out and then they make it to where it's paying them dividends, which is probably not the smartest thing because of the tax consequence of that. But I'm using that as an example. That's what it used to be. Now you could generate passive income that's going to help support your dream.
Right. Right. No, today is completely different.
No, Mark, I'm going to bring this up. I hope Mark doesn't mind. Mark, that's a limiting belief. Let me ask you this something. Do you remember when you were a kid and you got your first $100? Like, just imagine it. What that must have felt like you probably thought you were rich as a kid, $100. Today, that's nothing, right? Do you get what I mean?
Right.
The same is true. I remember my wife was a little different than me. I always saw things before she realized or saw it. Not to put her down. She's, women are practical. Should you really be buying that right now?
Tell me about it. I know.
My wife and I forget what I spent. It was on Brendan Bouchard. It was a $4,000 program, and it was on Thanksgiving. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to get it. She goes, she's barely listening to me. We were at our breakfast bar, and she goes, oh, wait, what are you getting? I go, oh, Brendan's program. She goes, how much is it? I go, $4,000. She, really? When you hear that, really? It's not good. I said, baby, do you understand? Like, this is going to be breakthrough. Like, he's got this way of getting to this, and this is going to be breakthrough. Ironically, and I've shared this before, listen to this, folks. So I buy it for $4,000, literally. So this is Thanksgiving. We go through December, January, in this group, all these people were having these website issues. Like, I don't know what website to build. I don't even know where to begin. They were all stuck. So I just asked them gracefully, hey, I noticed that all these people, because Brendan never told people what to really do. So I said, I have a solution for this. Can I just, put it in there? And they're like, yeah, go ahead. So I just said, hey, I've got this free thing. If for all of you that are stuck, and then for them, you remember the story, my parrot's on my shoulder. And I even told them, this is going to be horrible. Like, I don't have the best mic. You're looking over my shoulder. I'm going to teach you what to do. And if you can raise your hand to say that's okay, you're going to see proof of what I'm doing. And obviously they did it. And then they realized, oh my gosh, I'm purchasing the domain name. Because remember, I'm recording first, right?
Right.
This is not live. I'm recording it. So they see me purchasing the domain name that they actually clicked on and purchased my program. So they realized there was the proof that works. I made $35,000 that week. That week, $4,000, 35,000.
Right.
Now, mind you, this is going back all the way to 2012, I believe. So how cool is that? Like, that was, so my wife had this, now she's like, okay, I get this. Like, and another time, this was a big swing for us. Now, folks, I've been up and down just like everybody else. For us, my wife and I, this was a negotiations that I did. It was an acquisition type thing. I got $35,000, and this wasn't the flipping. This was part of my job as a negotiator. I got paid $35,000 from a law firm, and the week right after that, $25,000. So do you see what I mean? Like,
right.
Once you understand the value of what you offer in trade of what you pay. I had a guy that sent me money one time. So his name was Joe Fernicola in Florida, and I got him a deal. And he's like, this is when the fallout was happening with mortgages. And he goes, hey, there's this place that I would really love to own. I go, oh yeah, I could get you that. I would negotiate the bank. He goes, what? And he goes, what's your fee? So I told him what my fee. He goes, oh, done. So I do it. And I said, what would make you happy? He wanted to pay, get this one. He said, I'd be happy at 135 a door. That's 135,000 per door. If people that don't understand this, this is per property, or in some of these things, they were row homes. So it means per unit. Okay. Right. So if it's a hotel, it's every hotel room. That's per door. I do the deal. And it took me about 4 weeks. I call him up. I go, hey, I got good news. He goes, what is it? So I explain, but you're going to buy it this way. It's going to save on taxes, and it's going to save the bank and you. What you're going to do is form an SPE, which is a special purchase entity, an LLC. By the way, this is not legal advice. This is not tax or accounting advice. Speak to your tax accountant. All I'm saying is the deal, right? So I said, if you form that, what they're going to do is put the assets in there, and then they're going to sell the corporation. And he goes, yeah, let's do it. So he does it. Now get this one. A few weeks later, I get a check in the mail, not knowing, and it was for 10 grand. Hey, thank you.
That's awesome.
I've sent referrals to realtors here locally that's made a lot of money. I know that. And they not even sent my wife and I to dinner. Not that but you get what I mean? Like reciprocity, folks. Like he just appreciated it so much that he's like, I'm giving this guy a bonus. Never said what it was. It just was a thank you note. Now, Mark, limiting beliefs. Can you imagine when he was like 17? Hey, someday you're going to write a check to a guy for 10 grand just to say thank you. He would have been like, hell no, that's never going to happen. Right?
Right.
You level up, but you got to start believing. You got to see beyond that. And one of the best ways of doing that is realizing what people are doing. That's what we're doing with Biz Morning. We're going to bring people in 2023. It's not going to be just D&I. Matter of fact, at what point in in February, we should have a panel of like 10 people on. We're here to bring people that are doing these things that'll give you that vision and give you, do you agree? Like when you break through mentally, everything changes.
Oh, it does. It does for sure.
That limiting belief, how many like people they just don't believe in themselves. And if they would only believe in themselves, at that point, everything changes. So Mark, trust me, look at all the ones, like he made a comment about Seth.
No. Yeah. No. And believe me, it's a lot easier to say than to do, but you gotta get over the hump. You know what I mean? And it's just, that just changes your whole outlook,
Without a doubt. There's 2 ways to get to 52 Creator. Go to 52creatorchallenge.com. Just all you're doing is name and email. We're going to be notifying you this week because right now we're preamping. We had videos that are going into Link Boss, the group. We're doing a remake of that group, just so you know. Those training videos are going to be in there as well. That's going to get you past start. We have a jump on this year. What do we have? 3 more weeks?
Yeah.
We have 3 weeks, folks. Yeah. Let's get going. Start naming your product or service. Susie, name your program. Come up with a name. Okay. Make sure all of you, Mark, Susie, all of you, yourname.com. If you don't own it, get it. If you do, I applaud you. That's the first step.
Right.
You have to know. For all of you that have kids, buy those domain. Do you have yours?
I do.
Do it. It's the best gift you can give them in the future. Buy those. They're like cheap, $8. Go to Namecheap. Go to HostFox if you want to help us out. But listen, I'm not about that. Namecheap's cheaper. Go there. Their hosting isn't. We have better hosting for sure. But if you want to get a cheaper domain, just go to namecheap.com. Do not go to the other daddy site. They'll take your domain name if you're not watching it like a hawk.
Right.
They'll take it and put it in an auction. I think that's horrible that they do that.
No, I hate GoDaddy.
I can't stand them.
Yep. And then obviously, obviously HostFox.
Yeah, HostFox with an X. Here, let me bring it
Double
up.
X. Yep. And Mark Woods, real quick. Dude, anybody knows you knows you're definitely not afraid to work, man. So, and that's what the 52 Creator Challenge is going to help with. So,
yes, Mark, 23 is your year, bro. Like seriously, 23 is your year. That's all you have to remember. Like, you know what? This is when I stick the flag in the sand and I'm going to figure it out. It starts with that. With everything that we do, every product that we've created, it just started by sticking the flag in the sand saying, you know what? I'm doing it. Love it. Love it, Mark.
Yep. And then Devin, selling domains. Selling domains is a business in itself.
Oh, who put that up there?
Devin Harrington. Selling domains there you
go. Devin, we have a program in 23 with HostFox that we have an auction site for domains. So we will help you guys with that. That is a huge way to make money. Now, is it passive? Kind of can be, but at the end of the day, domain selling is big business. We bought, you had to purchase Loud, okay, in an auction. We purchased Grub Guys in an auction. I paid a sick amount of money for Spartera back in the day.
Oh yeah.
When you know value, remember flyaway.com. I was speaking at an event and I had it up there and people didn't see the value. I'm like, really? Now watch this. What if you owned American Airlines? Do you see it now? Can you see the commercials? It would be it'd probably be a multi-$100 million domain name at that point. You got to see past the limited belief. But Devin, you're absolutely right. Now, here's a cool thing about that is you also can lease them. Devin, did you think of that one? Did you think of that one? Tim, what do you mean about leasing? What if you did this? What if you bought a bunch of domain names and you said, hey, you want to lease this domain name and build a website on it? All you're doing is you're like a landlord of that domain name. Believe it or not, big business. People are making a lot of money off of it. Some people may want the domain name for a limited time. And then when it goes to a product life cycle, personally, I would rather want to own it. Technically, we all lease them.
Right.
Because if you don't pay your registration, that you will end up losing the domain name. We've all done that before. So make sure you keep a watchful eye on it as well. There's so many ways, folks, not to sound, but so many ways that you can make 23 your life transformation year. I know with D&I, it is on some other things that we're doing. We may have an exit on what's right now a SaaS system, which will become its own company and then sold off to a training facility. And I'm really excited about that as well. And guess what? Will we have a different brain?
Oh yeah, 100%.
You always will, because now you're thinking differently. Now you're no longer like, now things below that seem tiny. You know what I mean?
That's right.
Anyways, all right, folks, you have a great week moving forward. Make sure that you join the 52-week challenge and the group. I'm going to bring it up real quick. For those that aren't in the group, make sure you are in the group as well. You're going to start getting a lot of notifications this week. We start the challenge January 1st, but right now this is a preamp. We're in it. Like, let's get going. Your domain name, meaning yourname.com, ddipple.com, like that.
Right. Yeah.
Name your product. You don't have to build a website for it yet. Just name it. That's all you have to do right now, and start flushing it out. Like, start getting ideas and looking up your competition. That's key too. All right.
Oh, yeah.
D, thank you, brother.
All right, man. Thank you. Yep. We'll see everyone later. Thanks for all the comments today. This was awesome.
Yeah. Thank you. And for those that look things up for us, thank you. We appreciate it.